Hello and welcome to a brand new week with us at Enterprise TV, Enterprise Morning. And here we are back to serve you all the latest updates worth your time and attention, especially for the biggest conversations that matter. I'm Chinyere Igwe.
And I am Henry Igwebiki.
Right, that's right. We'll be heading straight into what the major headlines have to offer this morning. In the meantime, you can subscribe to our page and YouTube at Enterprise TV7. That same handle applies to all our pages on social media: Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. Our guests for this segment are Barrister Evans Ufeli, consummate legal luminary, and Olu Sison Okwadu. Thank you so much, sirs.
You're welcome, gentlemen.
Good morning, 20.
All right, let's get right into this report. A security post at the private home of the impeached Edo State Deputy Governor, Comrade Philip Shaibu, was on Sunday evening demolished by a team from the Government House, Benin and Edo State, Ministry of Roads and Bridges. Members of the demolition team, backed by fully armed policemen and operatives of Edo State Security Network, pulled down the structures with a bulldozer at about 5 p.m.
So
To do justice to this report is our guest that I've just introduced a while back. Mr. Evans, looking at this story, this is what Nigerians will be in a haste to say is a witch hunt. I do not at this time understand what the offense of the Deputy Governor might be, but help us understand why this is happening at this time in Edo State and what this portends for the political polity.
Well, I think we have reduced everything to politics. Not too long ago, Shaibu was impeached, howbeit in a manner that did not conform with the Constitution. Now, they are about demolition, or they have demolished the security posts I don't understand what this means. Is it that we have lost our senses such that what we do now is either Wike is using his might at the federal level to fight Fubara, or Obaseki is using his governorship power, whatever it is, to fight. At the risk of not running into a conclusion, the government of Edo State have not shown the public evidence that place has been marked for demolition. I mean, I've not seen any. I read through last night trying to find a justification or a ground other than the grounds they have. But I've not seen anything to that effect. So I will not rush to conclude that the governor is witch hunting the impeached deputy governor. I will not reach that conclusion by virtue of logic and reasoning. But there's a sense in which, if you stretch this forth, anyone who rushes into a conclusion to the effect that this is coming from the opposition or the fracas between them may not be entirely wrong. And I will not blame such person. I'm giving the benefit of that allowance for the purposes of education, so that it will not be that anything we say, okay, because of this, that's why we have this, which in all cases may not be the truth. But if you look at the way Shaibu is being treated in the last 2-3 weeks, anyone who is in that conclusion that this is directly connected to his quarrel with the governor may not be entirely wrong.
very true.
All right, thank you very much.
I think you can.
Go ahead.
All right. So let's quickly move on to our newspapers for today, and we'll start with the Punch newspaper. And the big headline here says recapitalization raise. Top banks target $3 billion of fund in foreign capital markets.
Also on the Punch, we have tariff hike. Federal government begs workers as electricity union insist on strike.
And also we have on the bottom strip of the banner headline, let freed Chibok girls reunite with families, community tells the government.
All right, just above the banner headline, we also have Humanitarian Ministry. EFCC recovers fresh 400, what's that?
$445,000.
$3 billion.
Yes, exactly. And still on the Bobrisky's story, we have it's been said here there's no 5-star treatment for Bobrisky, and that's coming from the NSSC officials. That is. All right, so let's start off with the one of the most interesting story on the Punch newspaper. I'd love to ask you, Mr. Chesson, and that's on the Chibok girls. It has come at a time in Nigeria where there are more abductions in many public primary schools in Nigeria. And right now, it's appalling that the freed Chibok girls are yet to reunite with their families. What is missing here?
Well, thank you very much. First and foremost, I have to say that as a country, I don't think there is any lesson in that. We always politicizing everything that we have to say. 10 years after, I keep telling individuals that government should not come celebrate the rescue or the release of any adopted person. It should be more preventive. Those children 10 years ago were, I wouldn't even call them teenagers, young girls. And from the reports we read, 34 were released and like 50-something additional people returned with them. They all came back with 1 or 2 babies. And you can imagine the psychological trauma. Like I was saying in a particular forum, that the adoption of some guys, young guys, by these so-called terrorists, it's like you're grooming them. They can come back and you give them reorientation. But you know that certain things will stick in their brain, possibly the way they were being treated, possibly the kind of affluence these guys are actually commanding. So when you bring them back, you release them, it sticks in their brain that 5 years to come, I already have a profession for myself, and that's banditry. So don't even allow it to happen. That's always my own case in this matter. And we've seen this 10 years after, we've seen the result. Possibly they only release the children that those ones want to come back with. Maybe they are basically girls, and the guys are with them, because a 10-year-old boy, of those guys, by now can develop things on himself, and you can be grooming them as future terrorists or banditry and release the girls to follow their mother back home. So I keep saying that government, we are treating issue of security with levity, if you ask me. This time we'll come around and say, okay, 20 abductors, they've all been free. I keep saying 2-3 days in the hands of these people, traumatized individuals. You can imagine if you're attacked in your house by armed robber. At night, when you hear a drop of pen, you are alerted to like, what exactly is the problem? And they are at it again. Same on the part of some of these children that have been adopted. So when we go to the aspect of saying the free children should reunite with their family, I'm sure we all know there is a process. The government will want to be seen to be doing what is expected of them by first taking them through psychological reinstatement back into therapy back into the system and the lives. And I will always say, in fact, when I saw those pictures, I was not seeing uniform on them because I know the last set that were rescued, always saw uniform.
Exactly.
Even within 24 hours, that will match the side. And I keep asking myself, these are my own view of saying that how do we indeed manage some of these situations? Well, I've always been saying, rather than coming to tell us the number of people that are actually being captured, can we avert this problem from happening? Because you cannot even underestimate what goes on in the mind of the people that have actually been released. Years to come, they might on their own, without anybody recruiting them, volunteering to be part of those people that you are trying to kill. And with that, we might see that we are not reducing the so-called terrorism or banditry that we are talking about, but rather promoting it, because those that were earlier being adopted are voluntarily and willingly yielding themselves even to be of service because of 1 or 2 things they have seen while they are in country.
Alright, so before we move to Daily Trust, there was the evidence 10 years after. I love that Shishan highlighted how it's even more important to forestall the event from happening as against when it happens, trying to salvage an already sad situation. Tell us what we think government can begin to do in terms of ensuring that we don't hear news of how young children were kidnapped from schools. I mean, this, in my estimation, will not only discourage parents from sending their ward to school, but again, this is a wrong signal even on the international front.
Yes, the federal government should deploy the army. What the army is meant to protect, the territorial integrity of the country. The police to manage security in civil society. Let's have a joint team against abduction or criminal terroristic attack on schools. You can have, a joint team that they have their posts around all those schools that are prone to this kind of attack. You see, because after the attack, what you do is that the ideology of fundamentalism is escalated. Now, in psychology, there is a principle when the captors, get their captive. They say that after some time, the captives begin to develop sympathy for the cause of their captors. Meaning, it begin to sift through their mind that actually these people who have held us here all this while, they just may have a good cause to be doing this. Yes, they develop. That is why when some Chibok girls were released, some of them went back.
Exactly.
They were the ones who said they prefer to be with the bandits than to be with their parents.
Very true.
That issue in psychology is fully formed. The captives begin to develop empathy and sympathy for the cause of it. It happens. I remember then in school, in the faculty of law, they made Islamic law compulsory.
Whoa.
Yeah, they made it compulsory. And we're all meant to do it compulsory. So I took a course in it. I began to understand how the prophet was converted. How before the time was the time of Jahiliyyah, where there was high rate of sin. And the prophet was converted through some, and all that. As we were reading that, we're stuck in it because we have to pass. It's a 4-unit course. I remember my perspective. So the course
changed.
of that religion changed.
Wow.
Overnight. Not like I was converted, but I thought perhaps these people also have a reason for this.
You were drawn to it.
Yeah, because I am a captive. Now, over time, I have developed empathy for the cause of the capture. It happens like that. So
Very true.
when you see the girls say, no, they want to go back, there's a reason they are doing that. There are some privileges they enjoy that they wouldn't enjoy in their parents' house and all that. So
Very true.
back to your question, what the federal government should do is to use the armed forces for the purpose. We draw all the security from governors because the reason we don't have enough security is that you have police carrying madam's bag, carrying Oga, taking children to school and all that. Sometimes police cooking for Oga and all that. So by the time you get to that level, we don't have security anymore to chase criminality. We draw those people, take them to those schools or those who are prone to this, let them have a place around those areas and let them watch over the children. The security and welfare of the people is the primary purpose of government, not the security and welfare of the elites.
Yeah, very true.
All right, so let's go to the Daily Trust. And the big story here we uncovered more fraud in humanitarian ministry, or this is referred to the EFCC. The writer says, probe of past suspended officials yielded 2.7 billion naira.
Yes, and the sub-writer for that story equally says investigating abuse of COVID-19 funds, World Bank loans. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, we have a consumer decry low supply as discuss prioritize Band A.
And some on the top strip, we're yet to see naira gain, food prices still high, and this is credited to Nigeria. So let's look at the story for a minute.
All right.
Okay, so the story again, we're yet to see naira gain, food prices still high, and Nigerians are selling. Mr. Soshan, there's been some incremental changes, naira to dollar. But look at this, look at what Nigerians are saying. There's no corresponding, price in terms of staples. You see, market, I think Bank of Life still said about a bit above 70,000 naira.
Yeah.
I still bought Gary yesterday for 3,000 naira for the custard bucket. When are we going to, or when is this whole naira dollar thing going to have effect on our staples?
Yeah, I don't see that coming in any shortest possible time.
What's that?
Reason being that if, as we speak, we learn that dollar is like 1,070 naira, if it jumps from 1,070 naira to 1,005, the correct price of commodity will move in that direction because there's a gap.
Yeah.
We are the price control agency. Where is government themselves, prevailing on situations out there. We are always fast in increasing the cost of things. but we are very slow when it comes to production because we know there are no consequences for any wrongdoing. As at the time the dollar was increasing in that progression, we were here discussing that if you price something 30 minutes later, you are there, they will increase it, and everybody is saying dollar. But we've been seeing dollar move from 2,000 come down to about 1,005, 1,004. Now we are at about 1,100. And we are not hearing people say, thank God we reduced the price. It's about people telling you that the prices at which you bought those goods there was high what we are selling. But the period that they bought those things in at a cheaper rate and there was increase in it, they will not tell you that no, we are still selling because the goods we bought there. That is the problem we are faced with. Each time you come to say government, we not all you attribute to the government.
Right.
We ourselves we are problem on our own because we are capitalist in nature. We are grown in this part of the world because of the lapses on the part of the government to monitor things, to exploit every individual. Every avenue and every Nigerian says he wants to exploit them. So if you see that happening, it goes back to what I keep saying. Where there are consequences for wrongdoing, people will be deterred from it. Just recently, I saw the Edo State Government, going to mall to tell you, because I know what we face in the hand of this supermarket. At the time, when you get to mall, the confidence should be there that you are buying a commodity at a price that you can see.
Right.
But you won't get that price until when you get to the counter where you want to pay.
Right.
I can say practically I fall victim. I was granting interview to a particular station and I was also buying something from the mall. And a particular thing I used to buy at the rate of 3,500, I saw them, put in 12,000 for that particular goods, and I was not conversant of it. The lady, because she's so used to me, gave me the POS. I paid. It was when I finished the interview, I entered the car. I said, so why did I pay this much? I checked the receipt. This particular thing, 12,000, I went by this story. He said, sir, it's 12,000. I went to the counter. There was no price tag. But Edo State Government has come up with that idea to say all malls now, you must actually tag the price of those things. So I can take my decision
at the point of
I am
selection.
trying to pick those whether I want to do it, not getting at the point of payment and discover that those things are on the other
Thank you so much. Just in 1 minute as we wrap up, Barrister Evans, I like that Mr. Shishan has talked about consequences for wrongdoing. Tell us what you think is wrong with our value system in Nigeria.
Well, where we cheat each other, one another, a lot. What we are doing to ourselves, when the government do it to us, we want to bring the roof down. But what we are doing to ourselves is unimaginable. You can see that the dollar is falling. Nobody's talking about it. Somebody was even saying yesterday that today is going to be 950. I said, that's not even my problem. How are the cost of things that have gone up as a result of this? And so how are you going to recompense for, like he said, there's no consequence. The government is not deploying. We have a Price Control Act. We have a law, a legislation, such that when people maneuver prices and manipulate, there are terms of imprisonment in the neighborhood of what Bobrisky is going through. You understand? But nobody's enforcing it. So until the government go out there to enforce it, the laws will not enforce itself. So these things we do to ourselves, we must know that the consequences are grievous. You are selling Gary. Gary has nothing to do with dollar. There's nothing you are going to tell me.
Even better.
Yes, don't tell me anything. That use transport to carry it. It's a lie.
Fuel.
Yes, it's a lie. Sell it the price you should sell it. That is what we should do.
Right.
Very true.
Right. Thank you so much. That's all for this segment. And of course, thank you so much to Barrister Evans, Ufeli, the Primus Inter Pares, and Olusegun Okwade, the consummate social analyst. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so when we return, Army arrests a Yoruba Nation agitator in Oyo State after a shootout with troops. So that in a bit when we come back. Please don't go anywhere.